what sort of activities. Okay. Also, we are concerned with the technology affordance, and this is how the technology affords students to use the or to benefit for the language learning. And also, we looked at the perceptions and challenges of the students. The methodology that we used actually in this kind of study is, as I said, the qualitative in nature, and we recruited 39 students, male and female. They were from Saudi University, the universities are government university, and also they were studying master degrees. So some of the students, particularly from the courses that I have taught in master degree, so I used to teach these are really some of their profile. They have already completed 2 semesters, okay, and they still have 2 more semesters to complete. As you can see, the data collection methods was collected, the data for 3 years, okay, from 3 different groups of students in 2023 and also in 2024, also in 2025, okay. And you can see the participants vary from group to another group in terms of the female and male, but female students dominate most of the data, around 79% of the participants were female students, because they are and these are the courses, okay? So the primary data collection method, again, is collecting prompts and logs and screenshots of the students' prompts when they use the AI tools. And also, after that, I distributed a questionnaire of open-ended questions, just seeking their perceptions and attitudes and what sort of challenges or problems they might face during the experiment. We also asked the students to reflect on the discussion forum about their language learning using the generative AI tools. So, the quantitative part of the analysis after we analyzed the logs and screenshots of the students' prompts when they use the generative AIs, the students predominantly used Google Gemini and ChatGPT more than other generative AI tools. In fact, I have looked at 16, so the students actually engaged in 16 generative AI tools. But those are the tools, the common tools that the students actually use in their study. So as you can see, the Google Gemini is 64%, ChatGPT 35, 46 Google Gemini and ChatGPT is 35%, which account for 81% of the whole generative AI tools that the students use during the acceleration. In terms of the English skills and language activities, as you can see, students in terms of the English skills and competences, writing refinement was the most used or explored AI skill. And also we have grammar learning, vocabulary, and speaking practice. In terms of the activities, students engaged in more than 14 activities. Okay. But summarizing articles seems to be the most dominated acceleration of generative AI, also searching on technology, so something asking for asking ChatGPT. Interestingly, because they were master students, so they prompted AI tools to design some English lessons and plan for their lessons or English lessons. So these are, as I said, preliminary findings at the moment, because we are still analyzing and working data. I looked whether or not there is significant differences between boys and girls when they use and explore the generative AI tools. So it turned out that there is significant differences between female and males, which means that female students actually explore more about their language problems and activities and tasks. But in terms of the overall usage rates, whether they used ChatGPT or Google Gemini, so there was actually no significant differences. But the significant differences were there in terms of the exploration, how many times they explored. So it turns out that female students explored more than the male students. In terms of the language skills, okay, we found that female students, as you can see, that there is significant differences between male and females. So they want to improve their language speaking by consulting them, by searching for some technologies or applications, and also they were trying to find a way to improve their speaking when they used the generative AI. Also, we looked at the longitudinal effects of technology, because the data were collected through 3 different years. Okay, though that the participants were different, but I thought that once the ChatGPT or most of the generative AI launched in 2003, we could see if the technology can be afforded something different during the time span. 2023. Sorry, yeah, 2023 to 2025. So it turns out that in terms of the acceleration of exploring the generative AI, there were no significant differences across the 3 groups. But in terms of the use of Google Gemini, okay, we found that the students in the first year, which is the 2023, used BAR. At that time it was called BAR, not Google Gemini. So they used it more because of the ChatGPT. It was not free of charge at that time. So they were using Google Gemini more than ChatGPT. It's something interesting within the years of generating that there is increased adaptation of emerging AI tools. Year 2, for example, you can see that students started using Microsoft Copilot, DeepSeek, very higher than the, for example, in the year 1, which is true. As the technology or AI technology evolves, advances, we might actually experiment and explore them. In terms of the vocabulary learning with generative AI, we found that students here, second year students, 2024, explore generative AI for vocabulary acquisition more than first year students. As you can see, I mean, some statistics are reported, they are the value or the effect size. So we could tell from the effect of the technology on the affordance or their affordances in language learning is that this suggests that stable technological affordances for second language learning throughout the observed periods. However, some significance, as we have already seen. So we could conclude that whether I used it 1 year ago or 2 years ago or today, it doesn't make difference as long as it advances and provides more affordances for the students to use the language. And again, the study is 39 students. It might be questionable in terms of the participants, or one of the limitations is that the sample size is small and it's qualitative, so it cannot be generalized into other contexts or other into settings. We looked also to or analyze the data qualitatively. Okay, so students effectively utilize AI tools like Google Gemini for grammar clarifications. So students, mainly they're asking ChatGPT for clarifying preposition usages, inquiring about morpheme differences, and also distinguishing similar words like affect as a morphemes. Also, the generative AI provides students with explanations and contextual examples for better understanding and comprehension. So these are some examples of the, for example, one of the prompts here about preposition. What is the difference between using the word between and the word among? So students sometimes, so they use it as a kind of corpus. Data-driven language learning here. What is the difference between affect and effect? Can you use the word careful and carefully in context? Another student asked ChatGPT or Google Gemini to generate lessons in the past perfect and also create some examples that help him to contextualize how the usage of the language within the context of the English language. So use Google Gemini for strategies to guess word meaning from context. So he asked the Google Gemini, for example, give me some strategies to make use of the words, contextualizing the words in the sentences. The students, their team utilized ChatGPT for in-depth exploration, requesting definitions, synonyms, usage examples, and cultural expressions. So in the example, he asked, for example, for cultural differences between British and English in terms of the words, the usage of the words. So it's a kind of language learning in terms of vocabulary. The student 26 prompted ChatGPT to design personalized multiple choice vocabulary test for specific terms. So he selected particular terms and he asked Google Gemini or ChatGPT to examine those kinds of terminologies or terms. Because the study is motivated by sociocultural theory and affordance theory, you can see here that the students, most of the, in terms of the sociocultural perspective, students actually benefited from generative AI tools as acting as a mediator or mediating artifacts, and that's called students' language learning. And also students used AI within the zone of proximal development, and they received immediate feedback. It helps them also that the low anxiety environment for post language development, especially for female students in speaking. So this helped the students, and particularly female, to explore more about and developing their into speaking. In terms of the perspective of affordance theory, we can see that the generative tools provided clear affordances and that students both received and actually used. So, for example, perceived affordances is expected instant grammatical, vocabulary explanations, and writing feedback. In terms of the actual affordances, you can see that students successfully obtained immediate corrections and personalized examples and contextual explanations for language learning. And they observed actual affordances like refining writing, grammar checks, vocabulary expansion, and speaking practice. Also, for one of the conclusions here in terms of the affordance, technology affordance, is that total usage evolved, like the Microsoft Copilot and DeepSeek and their XCT, and showing affordances are co-constructed by learner technology intelligence and students' growth. So the more we find, or the more technology are emerging since, for example, language learning, the more that they tend to use it in their language learning. So the evolving usage in terms of the emerging technologies that appear from day to day within the L2 context. So tool preferences evolved with new AI platforms adapted as the students discovered more affordances. So we can recommend here for the structured frameworks for integrating AI tools in here. So the context, and also the AI literacy development is important here. So we can implement the AI literacy programs or things to teach them and to train them how to use generative AI tools appropriately. We recommend here for research, for body of research in AI use in second language positions, that we need to conduct longitudinal studies of long-term generative tools impact on analytical competency, and also investigate the AI literacy. In fact, I analyzed the data, and it turns out that there is no significant differences in terms of the AI literacy of the students. But I doubt that because it's difficult with the 39 students to tell whether there is an AI differences between the three groups across the 3 years. So it might be higher, and if we have like 100 or more, we might actually find the AI literacy effect. Also, we recommend exploring students' challenges, analytical concerns, and we are working on that. This is for generative AI tools for Saudi learners. In the sense that generative AI tools act as a mediating artifacts, scaffolding language learning, and enabling autonomous practice within the students, aligning which is aligning with the sociocultural and affordance theories. Also, successful integration demands careful pedagogical consideration, CSDs, and adaptability to evolving AI tools. We also recommend or ask for collaboration between investigators and researchers because it's very crucial, and this will maximize the benefits and address challenges and any other issues that might be ethical for the students. So that's it for my presentation, and I would love to see some of your questions because this will help us to explore more about the data that we have in our study, and the floor is yours. Thank you very much.
To move on to the next part of our session. Thank you once again for Mr. Ali. Anyone has a question? Please raise your hand.
question is, I'm very curious how the students, yeah, you mentioned that most students use Gemini AI in speaking practice, right, based on the data. And then how can they use Gemini AI practicing in speaking? Because as far as I know that Gemini AI is like text-based, and then how they can improve their speaking through Gemini AI. So now all these questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I've seen like some players use the, Replica and else. So they are also helping in speaking. So yeah, they prompt them and they ask them how to develop in speaking. So they give them a kind of scenarios, conversations. And by the way, most of these literally Elsa and Replica, they are actually adapting with the time. Yani, the more you use them, the more they adapt your ability and adapt your style. So you can personalize them to your own language learning abilities. But basically, as the p-value here is 0.049, so it's very close to point. This is actually the statistics, maybe Dr. Prof. and also Prof. And he knows that it's very close to the probability, we call it, but we can tell that there is a sort of significant differences between male and female in terms of the, but it's not that high. But significantly, it is significant. So, which means that female students use mostly ChatGPT and Google Gemini for improving speaking. So they would love to speak like a native like, or increase their conversation, sentences, and dialogues with the AI. I hope that I answered the question. Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Yes, go ahead.
So, my question is, how might the discursive use of Google Gemini among other students impact and the design of AI integrated language learning tools, and then what could this trend suggest about evolving learner autonomy in L2, like fact vocabulary acquisition?
Thank you very much. I didn't get what you mean, but you are asking about how the students use ChatGPT apart from the school, at home, for example, to improve vocabulary, or? Yeah, I didn't. Can you say it again?
How might the decreasing use of Google Gemini among upper-year students impact the design of AI integrated language learning tools? And what could this trend suggest about evolving learner autonomy in L2 vocabulary acquisition?
Okay, I got it. It's the learning autonomy is very important, particularly those kind. This is one of the affordances of the generative AI models or tools, that they enable students to be autonomous learners when they learn the language, whether inside the classroom or outside the classroom. So autonomy and agency, I think they are very important aspects and issues within the most trending generative AI tools these days. I believe there are a couple of studies that are trying also to conclude something about learning autonomy and agency these days, ChatGPT or whatever.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, any question?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so in the paper data mentioned, women is significantly improve their English when learning with AI. If AI should increase language learning, why men are not significantly improved than women? So, what is the problem behind the same that makes men happy?
Yeah, between men and women. What's your opinion of that?
Thank you very much. It's a good question. Unfortunately, I don't know why, but I think male students are maybe busy with something. You know, in their language. They want to, for example, maybe get certificates for their own jobs because they are master degrees and some of them are teachers. So they want to be promoted right away to, you know, some ranks. But I believe, because I've been teaching, by the way, male and female postgraduate students in master and PhD, and since 2014, since the time I graduated from Monash University in Australia, and I've seen that female students, particularly the female students, are more up to learning and studying, and I think it's also cultural note that the female students are more, we could say, touching with the improvements and quality of the language and their linguistic behavior. But we need to figure that out. I think the male students are just, they want to get sick. Okay, whether they want to improve their speaking or not.
Because it sounds like gender bias.
Yeah?
Because it sounds like gender bias.
No, it's not gender bias. I saw a couple of studies. Also, they have significant differences between male and females, different explanations of the generative AI. But they refer it to their perceived perceptions about the generative AI tools. So they perceive it more positively, which can affect them to use it more and frequently. So also the perception of a new technology is very important. I'm also working on another study, and I found that the more the students positively perceive the technology, the more they tend to frequently use it. So this is also, it's a good question. So the perception that you perceive about something might affect you how to use it, and also affects the frequency of using that. Thank you very much.
Okay. Any question, everyone? Okay. Thank you for the very interesting question, and thank you, Mr. Ali, for your detailed explanation. Let's give a big applause for Mr. Ali, everyone. Now, moving on to our second presenter, Ms. Nurfitri Habibi from SMP Negeri 2. Her presentation is titled Gen AI in English Language Teaching and Learning, Is it a Friend or Foe? Ms. Fitri, you have 20 minutes in total for your presentation, including the question-answer session. Please begin when you are ready.
Alright, bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello everyone. Well, I've already introduced myself, right? My name is Nurjati. I'm a teacher,
A junior high school teacher, and actually my school is not a big school. This is one of a medium school as located in Kabupaten Cirebon. Have you heard about SMP Negeri 2 Mundu? Mundu? Do you know? Where is it?
who live there. Well, actually, this is the eastern part of Kabupaten Cirebon, yeah.
So I've already taught that there for around 2 years. So before I teach here, I also teach in the other area of Cirebon, which is in the western part, yeah, SMPN 2 Ciwaringin. Have you heard about SMP 2 Ciwaringin? No? All right then. So, okay, so this is like very, nobody knows it. Okay. So
My today's presentation is about generative AI in English language teaching and learning, and my question is it a friend or a foe for you who becomes a teacher? Probably, yeah. Are you becoming a teacher? Alright, so this is like the teacher's perspective, how I
use generative AI, especially Gemini AI, in designing lesson plan, in designing the learning activities, in designing materials, and also in designing scaffolding for my students. All right, okay, next. So this one, well, we have already heard about this, that what Gen AI technology like Gemini AI are increasingly used in language learning, and there is a dual possibility whether it is enhancing learning or the potential challenges.
yes, right? So that's why, is it a friend for me or it becomes a foe? Because if you cannot use AI, Gemini AI,
appropriately,
strategically, it might be ineffective for your learning or for your teaching environment, right? For teaching
in a classroom. So next, please. And here's the problem that I found in my school settings as an English teacher. One of the problem that I face with my student is there is a lack of confidence. Well, they are worried about making mistake. They are worried about being judged by their friends when they have to talk in English. And also, they have a basic level of English proficiency. Well, actually, I teach 8th graders, and they have already learned English for 1 year. But when I tested, okay, the level of English proficiency is still in the pre-A1. Yeah. So basically, this is one. These three are some factors that can make them afraid of speaking in English. Can you imagine that? When I asked them, "Hello, who are you?" and they only said, "No, no." Yes, yes. Or like, I don't understand this, but in Bahasa Indonesia or in their local language. Okay, and then when I say good morning, and they keep silence because they don't know how to respond to it. Even though they are already learned for a year, they keep, doesn't know how to respond, or they may be shy how to respond to it, right? And then I also finally try to figure out, like observing, ask them questions, like doing interview. Why? Yeah. And I figure out that actually they have limited exposure of English. So in the classroom setting, they only learn English 160 minutes a week. Outside the classroom, they never learn English. They never, get in touch in English, because this is something to do with the little to no parent support. 90% of my parent students come from low income family. So can you imagine how should I do? yeah, to teach them English, right? Because they have this kind of problems, and I have to think about how to increase the exposure of English, all right? Not only in the classroom, but outside the classroom. And then how I can get the parent support at least, right? All right, so I think about a need for methods that engage and scaffold learning to become more meaningful. So this is what I did with AI, Gemini AI, and I put some. All right. I have a conversation with Gemini AI, actually. I provide, I ask about constructivism theory. I also ask about load reductions instructions. And I also ask about deep learning, which is actually, this is our Indonesian curriculum today, right? Deep learning. Yeah, this is one of approach that is applied in Indonesian curriculum today. And then finally, after such a long conversation with Gemini AI, I can make this one clue, connecting local understanding through English. So what is clue? Actually, this is an innovative method addressing the problem by localizing content and boosting confidence. So I think about, well, if they want to talk in English, they have to be familiar with the topics, right? And so I have to think about what kind of topic and how can I encourage them to tell their experience around their life, around their neighborhoods. So there are 4 stages in this method, which is collect, where this is how I try to figure out the students' background knowledge, prior knowledge, their experience. And then from that, I try to localize. This is like a practice, yeah, to connect between their prior knowledge with the new material that they are going to learn. And also understanding global. Why understanding global? Because we learn English, right? If we learn English, we have to learn about the culture as well. So I think about they have to think not only in their environment, but also they have to think something bigger than that, and they have to try to compare their culture with the other culture, as simple as like, okay, for example, like the activity, the topic that I brought to them last time is about last weekend activity. And then I asked them what did they do last weekend. They said that they ate fried rice. And then how I try to get them to understand the global context. I'm something like made a sentence that, okay, I have a friend, Fuzi, and he ate sushi. All right, so sushi is not from Indonesia, right? So I asked them, have you ever tried sushi before? Okay, so this is, all right. Okay, so this is what I did in the Understanding Global, and also the English outreach. English outreach is like the outputs. So the last time that I did is I want them to be able to talk about their last weekend activities in English, and they have to speak it, right? Like a dialogue, a conversation. So Clue emphasizes deep learning, which is our curriculum. And this one, I also try to figure out the load reduction instruction LRY principles. Like this is like a cognitive load theory foundation to scaffold learners from novice to expert. So I try to make my students to be an expert, right, from the novice one. And there is a 5 principles: difficulty reductions, support and scaffolding, structure, practice, feedback and feed words, independent practice, and problem solving. And then what is the connection between Clue and LRY? So Clue and LRY foster learner autonomy, confidence, and meaningful language competence, consistent with the Indonesian curriculum goals for deep, contextualized, and student-centered learning. So every steps, every activity is designed to them experience to have enough experience to talk in English. So I give them a chance to talk every time they meet me in the classroom. So there is no like silent, like I'm explaining all the time. No, I provide several activities for them so they can actively engage in the activity and talk all the time in my classroom. And what is a Gemini and its role in ELC? So Gemini AI strengthens adaptive learning, personalized context, and real-time feedback. So every activity I made for my students is something that I generated from Gemini AI. So for example, like, okay, I'll show you later on how I did in the real classroom setting. And there is a limitation, text focus, need for teachers facilitation, cultural adaptation required, and that's it, how I supposed to be in the classroom as a facilitator, right? So this is a collaboration between me and also the Gemini AI to make interactive learning classroom. So how teacher use Gemini AI to plan and design materials? The first one, this is what I did, personalized content creation based on the students' data. I put the prompt like my students coming from low-income family, and also my students' level is pre-A1, and I want to make them be able to talk about their last weekend activity with the past tense use, something like that. The prompt that I wrote in the Gemini AI. And then this is provide the adaptive scaffolding for cognitive load and management. And then the customized practice activities and real-time feedbacks. So the last one is efficient lesson planning and differentiation. So I can make, the material effectively and efficiently. I don't need enough, long time to modify the material because of the Gemini AI. All right, this one. So Gemini AI as a friend for me. Yeah, supporting Clue and then LRI in the classroom. So this one is to generate localized learning materials and scaffolds effectively. To personalize difficulty and practice for diverse learners, and to provide unbiased instant feedbacks and guided independent problem solving. So Gemini AI serves as a powerful assistant helping me plan and tailor my materials to foster deep learning experiences rooted in students' identities and needs, consistent with the CLUE and LRY frameworks. And so this is the practical classroom integrations. This is the example. This one, and the collect, localize, understand global, and English outreach. So this one, the collect one, this is like exploring experiences, like collecting data, prior knowledge, yeah. And this is the learning activity. So because my school is under-resourced schools, right? So we have limited access to the internet, right? But I can ask my students to bring their phones, but this is not a sophisticated phones, right? Okay, but it is enough for them to access the internet. And then, so the first activities that I did is doing a mind mapping, and they can mind map their idea. I asked what did they do last week, and they can answer it in their first language or in Bahasa Indonesia or in the local language, in, for example, like Cirebonese or Bahasa Indonesia, Bahasa Sunda, right? And then after that, I want them to make a sentence translation table using the Gemini AI. Jadi, jadi, alright. Okay, so this one, after they collect like what kind of the activities they did on the weekend, and then what people around them did in the weekend, and make a mind map, they try to make a sentence and to make them, enjoy and then not frustrated in, like, I don't know what kind of word is it. So I used the Gemini AI for them to make a sentence translations. And then after that is the localized. This is like connecting you in materials or information with students' own experience. in this case, the first activities is activity change. After they make a sentence related to the what's that learning no activities in the weekend, so they have to, for example, I say the first sentence, I went to the beach last weekend, and then the second person, I went to the beach last weekend, and so you have the next person should say their own weekend activities. Okay, so memorize the friends' activities and also just like activity change. And also the second one is local mood meter. Local mood meter is like asking about the feelings. Okay, how was their weekend? Asking about the feelings when they did the activity in the weekend. And it's like TPR. Okay, well, actually, I have the video for this one. Do you want to watch it? All right, so this one, this is like what I did. So it's easy for me to. But this is actually. Okay, I'll show you the. So this is. Iya, sama. So they can use their L1, right? Mm. Okay, this one. So this one's making my map, right? This one. Uh, all right. Uh, itu. This one is activity chain. This one is local laws. So this one. Okay, after that is like qualitative. So this is like, so all the materials I made here is based on my conversation with Gemini AI. So like local detective. So this is what I did with the Gemini AI. So this is what I did then, and so on and so forth. All right, yeah. So if you want to watch more, you can visit it. You can. All right. Wait. Alright. So I'll move back here. So this one, the next one is understand global. Like I said, the local versus global. Like I ask them questions and the feeling, and also for the English outreach is like unscrambled dialogues. So I give them unscrambled dialogue, and then you have to arrange them into the good order, and they have to practice with a certain dialogue. And then I made a duet TikTok as well based on to practice. I mean like they speaking, they pronunciation. So I let them to do it in my TikTok. I make a conversation based on the ascribal dialogue. And also after that, I asked them to make a conversation, and they are given a situation card, and they have to, I mean like, create it by using the Gemini AI. So, and after that, they have to do the role play. So this is all the activities that I figure out from the conversation with me and Gemini AI actually. So I made Gemini AI as my partner to talk with, to discuss, to I mean like design my learning activities so it fits to my students' needs. And this one is the conclusion and the recommendation. So teachers' role in optimizing generative AI. Use a guiding, customizing, and contextualizing AI outputs, training needs, and maintaining students' agency. And then there is a balancing friends or foe. Best practices for generative AI in LT. Embrace AI as a partner, not as a replacement. Always integrate with pedagogy grounded, like LRY and contextual relevance. Like I use the contextual constructivism theories for it. All right, and then also summary is promising as a powerful ally. Responsible implementation with teacher oversight is critical. So that one is my conclusion, and this is the end of my presentation. Any questions is welcome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Miss Fitri, for that insightful and well-presented talk. Since we have no question and our time for this session has ended, okay, that concludes our first parallel session. Let's give a warm round of applause for all our presenters in this session, everyone. We kindly invite all presenters and participants to return to the 8th floor as the next part of our conference will continue there. Okay, please note that parallel session 2 will resume in the same room at the 7th floor. Thank you and see you again. Okay. Hello, Miss Vuong Fonko. Could you hear me? Miss Funko, could you hear me?
Uh, yes, I can.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Miss.
May I confirm a little bit about the time for my talk? So I will have about 15 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So then that will follow by the question and answer session, right? Like about 5 minutes for that.
Yes. You have 20 minutes in your presentation, including the question and answer session, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Could you please on cam, ma'am?
So can I start now or will I wait until the right time?
Let me introduce you first.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Welcome back, everyone. We are now continuing with our pilot session 2 of the 22nd AsiaCALL International Conference 2025. In this session, each presenter will have 20 minutes in total for their presentation, including the Q&A session. I kindly remind all presenters to manage their time accordingly. Let's move to our first presenter. To begin this session, we have Miss Vuong Fonko, who are joining us online from Saigon University, Vietnam. Her presentation is titled A Comparison of ChatGPT-graded and Human-graded Responses to VSTEP Writing Task 2. Okay, ma'am, you have 20 minutes in total for your presentation, including the question and answer session. So the time is yours.
Thanks a lot. So I'm sharing my screen. Can you see the screen now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm gonna start my talk, and thanks a lot for joining our my session today. So actually, there'll be two of us, but just me alone today because my partner is pretty busy, so just me alone. So I will briefly talk about our study, what is a comparison of ChatGPT created and human created responses to VSTEP writing task 2. So maybe the test is not very familiar to you because this one is the localized test in my country, but it is widely recognized as a national test, and it helps the student to achieve the English efficiency that is required for their bachelor graduation. That's why I choose this as our focus of my study. For the talk, I'm going to talk a little bit about the background of my study, the method, the result finding, and some conclusion. So let's start with the introduction, would provide some background information about our study. So our study focus on the use of ChatGPT as an assessment for written responses. And earlier research have proven that ChatGPT has made remarkable contribution in many educational contexts, and is also considered a highly promising tool in writing practice. And it can also offer valuable feedback on written responses. And that's why I want to know whether it could be used as a tool to evaluate the written responses within the context of the VSTEP writing for learner. So our focus here will be on the use of ChatGPT as an assessment tool for learner rather than teacher. I will skip the part that explain about the VSTEP test because you may find information about it. But I would just like briefly introduce a little bit about the writing one. So the writing one here would include two parts. The first one is an email of about 120 words, and the other is a composition of 250 words. And task 2, what is a composition, is our focus in the research. And the scoring criteria for this task include task response, lexical resource, grammatical range and accuracy, and coherence and cohesion. So that will also be the elements that will be analyzed in our research. So I will summarize a little bit about some of the recent study relevance to the fields of using AIs as an assessment tool for written responses. AI has been proven its potential in giving comprehensive and detailed automated feedback, and is also appreciated thanks to the efficiency, the scalability, and its capability to adapt to the individual's learners. And that's why it can provide more opportunity of a holistic, accurate, and also adaptive method compared with the traditional one. However, there's some fluctuation. That's still concern about the fluctuation in different scoring route and with the model use as well. Like if you use ChatGPT or Gemini, it may produce different scoring, which may cause confusion. There will be some information about the comparisons of ChatGPT grading and humans grader. So generally speaking, there will be a very low iterator reliability between the two methods, and it become more evident when there will be some assessment concerning nuance and subjective elements. So I have summarized a few problems that occurs between the two methods of grading. And that focus on the 4 elements of the scoring criteria that I have talked about earlier. So if you look at the table here, you will see the general trend is that AI tend to be more technical in terms of grading, and human tend to be focusing more on the communicative effect and also the flow of the language use, and also and the flow of the essays by the student or by the student. So here for the task fulfillment, the first criterion, we can see why AI may appreciate the formulaic responses. A human rater will focus more on the depth and the argument coverage, or in terms of coherence and cohesion, why AI tends to like overestimate the mechanistic writing. A human rater usually judge on the overflow, on the overall flow, and also the logical argument. In terms of lexical results, we as a rater usually focus more on the appropriacy and the contextual range of the language, while AI focus more on the lexical sophistication. And the last aspect is grammar. So for this one, AI tend to be stricter in terms of picking up the mistake and give student minuses on this one. So these are some of the aspects that we will also try to focus on in our study to see if we can have similar things. So now I will come to the next part, which is the research question. So we try to answer our that 3 questions in our research. The first one is how accurately do create student essay based on the given rubric compared with human raters. The second one is in what domains do the score and the feedback given by align with those given by human raters. And the last one, we will try to identify the sub-criteria that can result in the discrepancy between the 2 methods. This one is the brief explanations of the research design. So we will use 30 essays from students who are participating in the preparatory classes. And we will use the convenient sampling method because we want to make sure that it can cover student different levels and also like topics, essay topics, and will avoid bias as well. So the design will be descriptive, comparative research, and we want to examine the capabilities of using LMN to score the written response. And here, the instruments that we use in our research will be the first, the band descriptor. So this one is the one that is officially used in by the creator, by human creator. And also the checklist of strengths and weaknesses. So this one is the checklist developed by ourselves, and also it will revised by the experienced graders who participated in our study. So we will so this study will include the data generated by the human assessment and the ChatGPT assessment on the same set of essay, the essay that we have talked about earlier. And there will be 3 qualified and experienced human creator. So they are the one that have been regularly trained for this, and they have the certificate in creating the VSTEP writing test, and also they participate regularly in creating the test. So for ChatGPT, we use the ChatGPT 5, and this one is the free sample because our focus is to make sure that student can use it. So free sample here could be more convenient and maybe more accessible compared with the one with fee. That's why we choose this model. And for the approach, we will start with through 2 different approaches for analyzing the score. The first one to check if the score could be there could be some kind of comparability between the scoring provided by the 2 methods. That's why we use compact MFAR and then Pearson correlation and passive sample t-test to compare the 2 scoring. And a different approach that we apply into this is the threshold gap, because when the human graders checks the test, there will be about 2 of them doing the same one, and there will be an acceptable score gap. And I think that one is more important, because if the student use the model here, they will focus more on like the score gap between the human grader and the ChatGPT, and whether it could be used as a predictor for the score that they may get in the real testing context. So that's why we use 2 different approaches for this. And in the second phase, we will analyze the comments provided by the 2 methods, and we will compare to see where the discrepancy comes from. So that is the 2 ways that we analyze our data. So this one is the results that we found, and from the first approach, we found that they're very low reliability. So this one has been confirmed in earlier research. And even for the correlation, there was also the weak linear relationship between the 2 methods. And for the score bias, we see that AI tends to be more linear when it comes to task response and coherence and cohesion, and it can be a little bit more stricter in terms of grammar. So this one is also similar to other findings that we have talked about earlier. And this one helped us to reach a conclusion that though there's a low agreement between the human grader and the AI rater, there's a systematic bias, and this one could be a good background for the student to use AIs as a score predictor. So for the other approach, what is the threshold? So we could find that we found that the highest comparability here is in the task response and the coherence and cohesion. So this one showed that when the student use ChatGPT, this one could be a very good predictor for the real score that they may get in the test. And However, we also found that the most reliable alignment is the lexical result. So there will be the score gap between the two, but the score gap is more consistent than the other aspect. And the most problematic one, of course, is grammar, with like a lot of problem in terms of scoring and comments as well. So this suggests the AI focus on forms rather than communicative effect of the written responses. So now this one is the table that show the results of some essay with like score differences, and the one with the largest mismatch here usually occurs because of the grammars and the cohesion misjudgment. So for the second phase, in which we analyze the comments by the two, we can also found something. So the thing here we found is that they for the task response, they agree on many items. However, there's still some problem between the way that they interpret different items. And for coherent and cohesion, it happened in the same way. In terms of lexical results, this one is the one that we can find pretty similar, like common between the two. And also the more problematic one is also is the grammars with in line with the information about the scoring. So this one is the one that explains some of the problems, some of the sub-criterions in which the mismatch occurs the most. So for the discussion, after getting all the results, we found that there will be the clear inconsistency, and this one has been confirmed by many research that have been done earlier. And I think the reason behind this could be because of the scoring algorithms, which is not advanced enough, or also the way that they interpret the scoring rubric or the application. So AI is not like regularly trained by human data, and maybe the problem can stem from prompt engineering as well. But also we can confirm that there will be a potential for using this as a tool to predict the score, because we can see a clear bias and like a consistent bias in some certain aspect, which could be used as a predictor. So for conclusion, we confirm the complementary natures of AI as a supplementary tools for the teachers to create the written response, and it should be used as a predictor rather than the standalone evaluator. And it can be, it's also highlight the different approaches adopted by human and AI when they create the written responses. There'll be some limitation in our research for sure. The first one is the small sample size. We know that, but because we need to analyze the comments manually, so we cannot like go over than that number. And we haven't taken into account the scoring discrepancy in different scoring route by AI. And here, although we have some descriptive analysis, it does not really focus on the specific sub-criterions. So maybe further research can do better on this field. And also we have the qualitative analysis, but most of our research will be done has been done statistically. So maybe it needs a better approach to get a better insight. So to sum up, I want to say that when students use AI, they need to be more aware and cautious of the scoring tendency by the platform, which can allow them, which can provide them with a more accurate assessment of self-performance. So that is the end of my talk, and thanks a lot for your listening. Yes.
Collection of human evaluators.
Yes. Okay. Thanks for the question. So of course we are human, so bias always occurs. However, I think the bias has been reduced because they have been trained for that, and also they have experience in dealing with like many problems, that unexpected problem that occurs. And also, actually, because the limited time, because of the limited time, so I haven't explained the procedure clearly enough. So actually, before the grading, they have created 10 extra essays in which they will give the score separately, and then they will discuss the score to reach a consensus. So this will help to reduce the problems that may occur due to bias during the grading of the other 30 essays chosen for our study. So I think that could help reduce the bias and also like improve the reliability of the score provided by the human rater. So is it clear enough for my answer? Is it clear enough on my answer? Yes. Thanks for your question.
Next, we have Mr. Ekson Saragi from Universitas Sumatera Utara, Indonesia. His presentation is titled, How Does Digital Storytelling Affect Nursing Students' Creativity and Engagement in ESP Classrooms? He will share insights on how digital storytelling influences students' creativity and engagement in ESP learning. Mr. Erickson, you have 20 minutes in total for your presentation, including the question and answer session. Yes. Please begin when you are ready.
I'd like to introduce myself to, I think most of you here are students, right? Okay. Last year I present also in EIEN Kediri. I have many friends there as a lecturers. And then I firstly introduce myself. My basic work as an English teacher at SMP Negeri. And then I had been a teacher for at least 8 years. And then from 2006, I moved to become a lecturer at one of the private university in Medan. And then from the last 3 years, I moved to Universitas Sumatera Utara. And last year, I was promoted as a professor in linguistics. I have one wife and one daughter uh, from pharmacy department. Actually, I asked my daughter to follow my path as an English teacher, but she refused. Okay. Well, this research was conducted uh, 2 years ago, in which the team are I myself, Erikson Saragi, Tiarnida Nababan is my wife, as the Dean of Nursing and Midwifery Faculty of University of Prima Indonesia in Medan. Nurmala Elmin Simbolon were coming from Kalimantan Polytechnic Pelayaran, and then Desri Maria Sumbayak is a lecturer from Universitas Sumatera Utara. How can I use this? Oh yeah. Okay. Well, well, firstly, I would like to introduce the three parameters here, the three construct here. The first is digital storytelling, and then ESP, English for specific purpose, and then artificial intelligence. I think this is the construct in this research. When I was teaching my nursing students, when I firstly introduced digital storytelling to them, digital storytelling is an activity of teaching, activity of learning, in which lecturer assigns students to perform a communicative activities and then record it and then present it, and then teacher comment it and other students reflect it back. So what we are assessing here is the content of the message, and then the communicative functions, and also something like multimodal analysis, for example, like picture, sounds, and everything that make the product has a communicative function, excellent communicative function. In nursing students, in nursing faculty, usually teacher or lecturer use conventional way of teaching method. For example, reinforcing grammar, reinforcing listening, reinforcing which one sentence is true, which one is not true. I think in this digital era, it is not quite accurate anymore. The most important thing is that we understand how to speak, whether our speaking, our English is not quite good, but the message we send can be understood by other person. So this is the background. In today's evolving education landscape, issues in English for specific purpose are lack of engaging and contextually relevant teaching method that develop language fluency, creativity, and professional empathy. And then, this is the traditional ESP teaching, often focus on memorization and technical terminology, overlooking communicative competence and effective engagement. So, in this study, we investigate the use of AI-assisted digital storytelling as an innovative pedagogical approach to enhance nursing student speaking skills, creativity, and engagement. When I was attending a conference, especially an ESP, from Philippines, from Bangladesh, from India. Indonesia is the most least nursing worker to send abroad. While the quantity of Indonesian nurses are very greater compared to Philippines. But because of the language competence, that is our big problem. We do not have problem in understanding technical nursing knowledge, but what our nurses have problem is on the language. So this is what we are going to handle to find the solution of the problem. Okay, we propose 3 research questions. How does AI-assisted digital storytelling affect the speaking performance of nursing ESP students? ESP students. Are you from English department? Yes. Have you chosen one of ESP for you? Yes, for example, you choose administration, you English for business, you not choosing yet. Please choose one. Which one do you like? I choose medical English. I choose medical English when I teaching. Why? Because I think in teaching medical English, the payment is higher. The payment is higher. When I was teaching the students from medical faculty, Fakultas Kedokteran itu, you can imagine it by yourself. Okay, so please choose one ESP for you. Okay, and then the second research question is, in what ways does AI assistant support or enhance students' creative expression in storytelling? Have you ever practiced digital storytelling? Or your teacher or lecturer assign you to produce storytelling? Yes. How did you feel at the time? Are you happy or sad or stressed? Which one? Stress? Oh, come on. You lie to your heart, I think. Because digital storytelling is an interesting activity. Okay? Well, and then what is the level of student engagement? Okay? We conduct the research using mixed method research design, using quantitative and qualitative approach. This is a controversy if we talk about approach. Many experts say that this is quantitative, this is qualitative, but I think it depends on the data itself. Okay? In this here, we use quasi-experimental research design. Consists of experimental group and control group. And then qualitative, we explore insight into students' perception, experiences, and creative expressions. The sample is representative of population, consists of 60 nursing students, because my wife is the dean of nursing students. So, yes, we collaborate with each other. Okay. And then, so I asked my wife, excuse me, dear, can you divide the class into two? One is to be experimental group and one control group. But of course, we have to compare the score first. Okay, and then yes, but one requirement: please include me in your research. That is the requirement. Okay, can a husband and a wife do collaboration in research? Yes, of course. Do you think this is relevant to me and my husband? My wife, I'm sorry. Tadi udah ngantuk ini saya lihat ini. Okay, can I collaborate, I and my wife, in doing research? Yes, of course. As long as the topic is relevant. Ini kan relevan ini. Okay. Okay. So the participants consist of 10 students exploring experiences, motivation, perceived impact of digital storytelling on language learning and professional competence. And then the instrument, T-test, pre-test, post-test, and interview. Data analysis, concurrent triangulation strategy, integrating quantitative and qualitative findings to produce a comprehensive understanding of intervention effects. So this is the result. The result of quantitative finding. It means between experimental and control group, we can see pre-test almost the same, post-test show a significant difference between experimental group and control group. Okay, this is the second result of the funding. The data from 60 participants reveal marked differences between group after 8-week intervention. Okay, so digital storytelling with AI assistance here show a greater effect on their creativity, originality, fluency, elaboration, emotion expression, and overall mean is 4.8 to 4.28, and then the rest we can see from this table. Talking about level of student engagement and motivation, this is the result. So the digital storytelling serves as a powerful creative medium for nursing. So don't say that digital storytelling make you stressed. The best way for you to do is please explore digital storytelling to be implemented in your teaching learning process someday. And then the second way, the second result is simulate patient care situations, express empathy in English, encourage imaginative thinking, encourage engagement, and connect language learning with real-world nursing context. Okay, so this is the discussion, the main finding, the contribution, the novelty. Okay, and then this is the conclusions. This study concludes that AI-assisted digital storytelling offer a powerful and innovative pedagogical strategy. And then theoretically, this study contributes to constructivist learning, multimodal theory, and digital literacy. And also the practical implication, future research, and when storytelling and artificial intelligence come together, they can develop linguistically skilled, emotionally intelligent, and global aware nursing professional. Okay, this is the research team. Yes, this one, this is my wife. Tapi I am very happy you are not feel sleepy. Okay, thank you. Do you have any questions?
Okay, thank you very much for Mr. Erickson for that informative and engaging presentation. Now we open the floor for question and discussion. Please raise your hand if you have a question and please your name clearly.
Okay, Prof. Well, I'm so sorry for the lack of knowledge related to AI-assisted digital storytelling. What does it look like actually? So I don't have any idea what is it. And would you like to give me like illustration, examples? How does it work? Thank you.
Can I ask answer directly?
Yes, sir.
Well, first, digital storytelling is producing a narrative in the form of recording and also pictures or in video. So in the process of making digital storytelling, students are asked to use AI, for example, like ChatGPT, and then Quillbot, and then Gemini AI, because they compare the text, the sounds, and the picture in their recording. So that is, I mean, the combine, they use artificial intelligence in creating or in producing digital storytelling. That is the concept. Is that clear? Okay.
If anyone has a question.
Actually, I'm from linguistic department, but in linguistic department, I use Bahasa Indonesia when teaching, but sometimes I forget English. You know, S1 is English, S2 is English, but in S3 in linguistics, I concentrate in native language of North Sumatra now, my research. The challenge. The challenge is depend on the students. More if students coming from cities, the school from the cities, big cities, I think it is no problem. But as you know, in North Sumatra, many students coming from an isolated area, for example, they do not understand about AI. So that is quite different. And also, they do not have even sophisticated handphone that can create the digital storytelling. And also, the second one is they do not produce or create the video, but they take others' video and claim it is theirs. This is the problem. So we as a teacher should be able to identify the original one or the fake one, fake in quotation mark. That is my answer.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Erickson, for your thoughtful and well-explained answer. Please give a big applause for Mr. Erickson, everyone. Okay, thank you, Mr.
Okay, thank you very much here. I'm happy to be in here, even though my travel from Medan is very far from here. But as an academic, I have to appreciate academic event. UIN, apa tadi namanya? UIN Siber. Tadi sama tukang Gojek saya bingung. Ada 3 UIN, Pak. Yang mana itu? Kamu aja nggak tahu, apalagi saya bilang. Jadi saya lihat-lihat pas saya di UIN Kediri jadi narasumber, saya lihat-lihat, oh ini gedungnya warna hijau yang di Kediri. Mungkin sini hijau. Ini hijau gedungnya, warna hijau. gitu. Oh. Pokoknya carilah sampai dapat saya bilang. Oke. Oke, thank you very much.
Thank you, Mister. Siapa yang ngomong jam 4?
Gini aja. Sorry ma'am, because this is the keynote time. We cannot present tomorrow. We cannot present it right now. And then we have to schedule to tomorrow. So about that. Alright, sorry ma'am. Because this is the keynote time, maybe we have to reschedule for your session to tomorrow. How about that? Is it okay?
So it means tomorrow while you present? Tomorrow?
Yeah, tomorrow in morning.
Okay, so please tell me the time.
Yeah, I will give you the right time for tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye. Yeah, thank you. So we leave now. Bye. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much for waiting us. Thank you so much.
Groups were equivalent in vocabulary proficiency at the beginning of the study, and this ensures that both groups were suitable for the subsequent intervention. The pair samples t-test results show that in both groups improved in their vocabulary test,